So when we're talking about the constraints of REST, what we really mean are the constraints to a system that define it as a REST-based system. This started back in the year 2000 when Roy Fielding was doing his PhD thesis on building network systems that were to be called REST systems. And he defined that these REST systems, or representational state transfer systems, had certain constraints to be defined as actual REST. This has become a big debate in the world of REST. The problem is that some of these constraints aren't necessary for every system, and so there are different camps between the ones that want to be dogmatic and the ones that want to be pragmatic. Do you want to design just enough of an API to solve your needs, or do you go back and build every constraint into the system as defined by that thesis in order to be considered or blessed as a REST system? Before we talk about that part of it, let's go ahead and look at these constraints. Starts with the notion of client-server, and that is that a system here is going to have a separation between a client, someone calling into the service, and the server that's hosting that service. The server is required to be stateless, so it's not going to have any side effects on the server when calls are made into it. It's going to support caching of the data, and is also going to have a uniform interface into the system. This uniform interface is broken down into a couple of pieces: the identification of resources, the representations that support modification, self-description, and hypermedia as the engine of application state, or as you probably know by now, my least favorite acronym in the world, HADOS. It also insists that it be a layered system. And then finally, it talks about the optional code-on-demand constraint. Let's walk through these individually to discuss them.